And testing, testing, testing. Yes, we are going live for the first show of 2021. We'll go live in just, 1 minute, 30 seconds or thereabouts. And I'll explain why I'm wearing the Lead Pedal Podcast hat once we get going. And I also have another hat over here, you see. So um, we'll be doing some things here. So we'll get to go live in just a minute. Hope everybody had a great New Year's and a wonderful Christmas. When did I speak last? Yes, I went live last Monday. So after Christmas and before New Year's. So, hey, good day. There's 2 people watching. Leave a comment so I know who's poking their head in. All right. So we are going to go live in just over a minute or just under a minute. And we'll see, as I say, I will explain why I'm wearing the Lead Pedal Podcast hat. I got to give Mr. Bruce Outridge heck. I won't say the word S-H-I-T, but I will say that I'll give him heck in a minute when I get to it. So we are going, hopefully 2021 so far, this is only January the 4th, has treated you well. I think we're all happy to say goodbye to 2020 because it was a year like no other. That is for sure. A year just like no other, and let's go live. All right, so it is a Safety Dog Live, and don't forget that we do this every Monday at 1 p.m. and you can like, comment, and subscribe to the Safety Dog YouTube channel. It is January the 4th, 2021. Hallelujah. So let's go to the news. As always, I start off with 1 or 2 news things. Today, there's actually 3 news things. So why am I wearing the Lead Pedal Podcast? Well, because Bruce hasn't yet created, or given me at least, a Lead Pedal Podcast radio hat. So this is the next best thing. As you can see here, whoops, let me come back. Hey, we've got a show. The Safety Dog and Chris Harris are joining. Bruce has been kind enough to invite me to have a show on his Lead Pedal radio. So I put the link into the show notes below. Hopefully I can get my speech impediments all fixed by then. But join me on the Lead Pedal radio for the Lead Pedal Trucking Safety with myself. So that's Lead Pedal radio show. You can do that. Oh, and I meant to bring this on to help us enough of that. Happy New Year, that's for sure. So we've got the Lead Pedal radio. We've done that. Wanted to get into this story a little bit. This is really more about the news here. Peak hype. Why driverless car revolution has stalled. When I'm at KRTS, the odd time I get to go over there and do AZ instruction in class, they don't allow me to get behind the wheel, of course, but they do allow me to speak to the new students in class. And I'm often asked, what is the future of a truck driver? Now, I know this is talking about driverless car, but what the heck is the difference between a driverless car and a driverless truck? In my opinion, not a lot. So what they're talking about in this story, and I put the link in the show notes for you, they see quickly a future for driverless vehicles on the highway. Where they don't see the future immediately or very soon is in the city. They think that it's much harder to get the city stuff figured out than it will be the highway. So interesting take. I put the link in the show notes below. I thought that was pretty interesting. So that was, and for those of you who don't know me or do know me, you know I am into technology and driverless cars and stuff like that. I enjoy reading about things like that. So if you enjoy it, leave me a comment below. This one here, this is a sad story to start off 2021. In December the 23rd, this story says a trucker was found asleep in the rig parked in the middle of an off-ramp on the 401. The good news here is the driver made it to the off-ramp safely without a collision and then fell asleep. You can read the whole story there. Don't want to keep that from you. Getting into, go to sharing Keynote now. Okay, so how to prepare for a CVOR audit. This is what we are mainly here to talk about, so I'm going to change hats. Thanks, Bruce, for having me, inviting me onto the Lead Pedal radio show. I'm going to pretend I'm a MTO now. So there. Turn my hat there. Okay. So how to prepare for the CVOR audit is what we're talking about. And again, you can get all the past lives on YouTube, on the especially the Dawg on It Trucking podcast. A new episode gets released every Friday. And this Friday, no, not this Friday. A week from Friday, I remember I've got Carrie Wachowski of CVSA coming on the 9th. So that's going to be really interesting. Or maybe that is this Friday. Is that the 9th? Oh my God. Can't figure that out. Anyways, how to survive an MTO facility audit. There are 3 pieces, if you remember: the maintenance component, the QR&R, or qualifications, records, and reporting, as well as the hours of service. So those are the 3 components. If you have, and thanks for the thumbs up there, if you have any questions about that kind of stuff, please reach out, chris@safetydawg.com, and I will do my best to answer your questions, because it's really important that you get them. And sometimes asking somebody other than the government your questions is a really good thing. So, annual review, incident reporting, and process procedures. That's what we're talking about today. If you go to safetydawg.com free, I've added a new free link. So safetydawg.com free. There's a new link there today. It doesn't show up in that little thing, but there's a new download for you. All right, I'll explain that in just a second. Stay with me now. So MTO, your insurance company, and the DOT or MOT, they all want you to investigate the collisions. You need to investigate all the near misses as well as all the incidents. And the goal here to the investigation is to drive the number of incidents down. So you want to know what's causing them. And of course, you need to investigate anything absolutely that resulted in an injury, damage to a vehicle or the trailer, and damage to the cargo. And you better document that you've investigated this. All right, so you need to be able to document your investigation. You might want to have a committee. If you have 20 employees or more. Now, here's a word, and I wish I was a lawyer because I don't know. The Ontario government and the federal government, this doesn't matter. Both governments say the same thing. So I would imagine this is right across Canada. But I checked the Ontario website and the federal website. They both say 20 or more employees, and they use the word employees. Driver Inc. Leave me a comment if Driver Inc. is included, because I don't know. If you're running a Driver Inc. operation, I believe they should be included, because Driver Inc. is, in my opinion, again, really not legal. Should they be classified as employees? And if they are, if you have 20 or more employees, that's including your dispatch and maintenance and office people and your drivers. If you've got 20 or more, then you need a health and safety committee. So interesting, I think. You also need to have a collision policy. And hey, I just wanted to try this one more time here. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment to the Safety Dog on YouTube. Hey, there was something new that I figured out how to do. So you need to have a collision policy, and in that collision policy, you need to include procedures to follow after the driver's had a collision, procedures for for forwarding all of the collision info to the company, and a summary written report. That should be written in there. You need a written report for that, as well as the emergency contacts. How do they get a hold of you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? How do they get a hold of you? Again, safetydog.com free. We have a free download, and this week's download is thanks for the thumbs up, is a downloadable collision register. So the response they use the word may include, I believe it should include a letter to the driver saying preventable or non-preventable. When you're doing all of this in the Excel spreadsheet that I've created for you and added a few columns into it, it's a pretty standard Excel spreadsheet you can download. I added these things into it. So you want to be tracking the time of the day of the week. And again, this is right from Module 7 from the CVOR Safety Manual Handbook. This is all the stuff that they say you should be tracking. Time of the day of the week, the hours driven before the crash, immediately before the crash, the driver experience, how many years of experience does the driver have, the age of the driver, as well as preventable or non-preventable, document that, the location, of course, of the crash, as well as environmental factors. And environmental factors are talking about the weather, the road, I think the type of power unit, the type of load. Was it drive-in? Was it reefer? Was it flat deck? If it had anything at all to do with the circumstance, environmental factors. So there is a sample of the spreadsheet. You can download it at safetydog.com/free. So /free again. They also say that you should have a substance abuse policy. And in that substance abuse policy, you should have words like continuous or excessive use of legal alcohol and prescription drugs, and of course, illegal substances. So you need to have, even in Ontario, for Ontario only, you need to have a substance abuse policy covering these items, and zero tolerance is urged by the MTO in the safety manual. So next, and then of course the discipline process. We already did a whole live on having a discipline policy, so I'm not going to go through that. Go to the YouTube channel and you can find that. Next week, what are we doing next week? Well, we are going to move into Module 8. So we're done. We're done with Module 7 now, and we're going to go into Module 8, Preventative Maintenance Policy. And of course, this applies to any trucking company operating in Canada, Mexico, or the United States. The MTO has just written it down. Of course, DOT has written it down in the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration regulations. All right, but we're going to get into preventative maintenance next week. So with that, I would love for you to say hi. Leave me a thumbs up, a thumbs down, if that's what you choose. And don't forget, let me hit this one more time since it's new. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Safety Dog channel. Be back next week, Mondays at 1 p.m. for about 15 minutes or so is what I try to do on Mondays. And of course, on Fridays, the Doggone It Trucking podcast comes out with approximately a 30-minute interview with somebody that I find interesting. All right, that's it for this week. Safety Dog is out.